Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and Rulewell. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noah's in his gospel, bro, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is another lesson through the Spirit. This is from New York Prepper. It says, Red Alert, Russian sub off California. Russian explosive drone crashed in Lithuania. All right, as war tensions are heating up between the West and the East, or the East and the West. You have the nations gearing their alliances, and you have the nations that set array against Babylon the Great. Because the scriptures say that in these times, there was going to be a war that was going to end all wars, that was going to bring back Yahweh Shai to deliver his elect. And now we're seeing tensions between Russia and America resurfacing, because when Trump got in office, he was talking about stopping the war in Ukraine and establishing peace between them and Russia and doing business with Russia, when in fact that wasn't a plan of the Heavenly Father. Okay, regardless of what Trump or what Putin or Bibi Mikowski or Zelensky or any of those leaders speak or speculate, at the end of the day, America's going to lock horns with Russia. No ifs, ands, or buts. So right now, like when you go into any type of combat sport, first round, you just kind of testing your opponent. You know, you're seeing, you know, the weaknesses, you sizing them up, you're testing their reflexes, you know, you're seeing how you can attack. You know, you ultimately, first round, you're gathering fight IQ. You're seeing how to fight or attack this person. So basically, you got both sides that's pretty much sizing each other up, because you got nuclear submarines that's off the coast of California, which they've been for some time. Okay, rumors have been coming out that you've had nuclear submarines that's been off the coast of Cali for some time. Also, the East Coast, you know, nuclear submarines washing up on shores. And now allegedly Trump has deployed nuclear submarines off the coast of Russia, which is a recipe for disaster. Okay, now whether these subs are armed or not, we don't know. But this is a flex of power. And in the midst of that, you got Iran that's basically demanding nuclear weapons like North Korea. You know, they're like, well, look, North Korea can have nuclear weapons. The West can have nuclear weapons. We can have nuclear weapons. And the thing of it is, Iran, they'll get their nuclear artillery from Russia. Okay, because they've been gung-ho on Iran's head for decades to make sure that their nuclear programs stay intact, so therefore they don't get access to a nuclear weapon, because, you know, it's not in the good interest of the small hats, because they're afraid if Iran obtains a nuclear capability, which they have it, but if they attain an actual weapon, they're afraid that Iran is going to use it on Israel, and that would be an end to the small hat state. So Amalek is on high alert. But it says red alert, sub off California, Russian explosive drone. So this is war, man. And this is not going to, I mean, the tensions are escalating, but this is not going to be a full-fledged hot war until the MOTB is passed. But to show you how the Lord works, he's strategic. The Most High, he's creating the tensions between these nations. So therefore, when the MOTB prophecy comes to pass and the global economy collapses due to America's negligence and their descent of the dollar, this can plunge the nation right into nuclear war. So I'm saying once the chip comes, the puzzle pieces will already be in place for nuclear war to take place on the planet Earth, man, which is going to be the end of America. Okay, because if you pay attention to what's going on, this is Google Maps, and I like to pull it up. I like maps, actually. Get into geography. We was kind of going over these things in class yesterday. But if you pay attention here, Russia, they have nuclear subs here. And if you go from here, like if you go up to Alaska, right? Northwest Territories, you got Canada, then you got Alaska, which technically Alaska was part of Russia. I think America purchased it back like in 1950. I think it was slightly, I know it was after World War II, but basically they bought this province from Russia. But if you pay attention, Russia can have nuclear subs all in the back door of America. Okay, so if they shoot missiles from Russia into America, they could just shoot them in Alaska. They'll shoot them over Alaska, and they'll hit right in land. Because literally, this is Russia here. All right. And then you have America, which is Alaska, right? Bam. And it's literally, I mean, this is literally right across the pond. Okay, from the highest peak in Alaska, you can look right into Russia. All right, because actually it was part of the same province at a point in time. You see? So they're through, man. All right, they're surrounded. They're surrounded here in the Pacific, possibly the Gulf, and also here in Atlantic. So America is being surrounded, and the Lord is so cold, he's put them in the perfect location because they're center. Even though this is the far west, but guess what? You go here, all right, you got Japan, you got South Korea, you got China, and you have the waters here, then you got Australia, but then, of course, you got what they call the Middle East here. Then, bam. So America is surrounded, man. All right, you're right in the middle, and your enemies are on all sides by you being smack dab in the middle. All right, even though this is the far west, your enemies can attack you from both sides. They can attack you from east and west if you understand how terrain and maps work. So it's not looking too good for Babylon the Great. But I got this TikTok video I'm going to play. Then I'm going to play a little bit of this New York Prepper video. The brother had already went into this, but I wanted to add a piggyback to the lesson because, you know, it was on my spirit to go into it anyway. As I was talking to the brothers yesterday, and I'm like, should we do a sit down? We should go into like the maps and showing how Babylon is surrounded on all sides. So that's just the spirit confirming, you know, that's what we do. But let me play this video real quick. And
according to a new Truth Social post from Donald Trump, this of Russia. We have major breaking news right now. Donald Trump has just ordered multiple nuclear submarines to go off the coast of Russia. Yes, I am serious. This just happened. According to a new Truth Social post from Donald Trump, this is being done in response to inflammatory statements from the Russian government. Donald Trump just said, based on the highly provocative statements of the former president of Russia, Dmitry Medvedev, who is now the deputy chairman of the Security Council for the Russian Federation, he has ordered 2 nuclear submarines to be positioned in the appropriate region just in case. These foolish and inflammatory statements are more than just that. Words are very important and can often lead to unintended consequences. I hope this will not be one of those instances. Threatening nuclear conflict between the United States and Russia certainly was not on my bingo card in 2025. And remember, this comes just one day after the White House demanded that Donald Trump receive the Nobel Peace Prize for all of his peacemaking efforts. But now he is placing nuclear submarines off the coast of Russia in what it could be a modern day Cold War type situation. We'll see what Russia's response is. Spread the word and follow along for more.
So right now, it's just a flex of muscles, but regardless, Babylon is done. They're surrounded by the enemies on all sides. So regardless of it, they're getting pelted from both sides. They're getting pelted from over the Atlantic. They're getting pelted from over Alaska, and they're going to get pelted from over the Pacific. So missiles are going to come from all directions, man. So there's no way in hell America is going to be able to defend all those missiles. And on top of that, their allies are going to shoot missiles on them as well. Because we know America, they don't put money into their defensive structures. It's just straight offense, you know, because they were the power horse, like the scriptures say, how was the hammer of the earth being cut asunder, and America being that hammer. All right, so let's play a couple of minutes of this video here from New York Prepper, because this is World War III. Hey, World War III is pretty much, the third war has started. You know, like I said, it's just a matter of certain puzzle pieces being put into play. And I speculate through the spirit that once the mark of the beast is finally instituted and mandated, I speculate that all these nations are going to already be at high tensions to the point there's nothing left to do but fight. Okay, and that makes sense because they just say if the mark of the beast come to pass, and then all of a sudden now all this has to come to pass. Now all of a sudden the puzzle pieces are moving. No, the Lord has been moving the puzzle pieces the whole goddamn time. So when that prophecy rolled, it's going to roll into one prophecy right into the next, because the scriptures say that though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. All right, so let me get a precept real quick. I'm going to come back to this Jeremiah. No, I'm going to come back to this 2nd Ezra 16. But let's go to the book of Zephaniah real quick, because this is the will of the Heavenly Father. All right, and the Most High is getting ready to take this place out. This place is getting ready to fall, bro. We ain't got that long left. All right, like people think that the MOTB is going to take, the chip be here the chip is right around the corner. Okay, that chip is just going to come. you know. But this is the book of Zephaniah 3, and I'm going to start at verses 8. It says, "Therefore wait upon me, says Yahweh, until the day I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth should be devoured with the fire of my jealousy." Okay, so this is the Lord's plan, okay, to bring an end to this wicked kingdom. Because, I mean, it's time for this man to go, man. All right, these heathens have totally driven this earth into oblivion. And it's time that the earth receives a better and a better rulership, you know. You know, this it's nothing but war, death, destruction, misery. You know, just a cruel world. And the main reason for that is because the laws, statutes, and commandments are not being propagated. That's where everybody's all bugging out, man, because there's no law, there's no structure. That's in the book of Habakkuk, man. Therefore, the law is slack. Therefore, wrong judgment go forth. That's what's happening on the planet Earth, because the laws of the Most High is not being established, man. All right, and you Christians, you ain't got it. Give a damn what you sell. I accepted Christ. My life got better. Fuck off. Easy. So anyway, let's play a little bit more of this video, and we'll get a couple more precepts.
What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NY Prepper. It is Thursday, August 7th, 2025, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. Right now it is 12:31 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from Eastern Europe and from here in the US. So for some reason today and last night, we have US nuclear forces on very high alert. So what you're looking at here is a flight tracker showing some strategic planes over the US. We have a high priority reconnaissance plane, an RC-135U combat scent airborne over New Mexico. And we also have a nuke sniffer airborne as well over Nebraska. We also have a B-52 nuclear bomber airborne over Georgia. So this is extremely unusual to have all of these planes up in the air at the same time. In addition to that, we have a second B-52 airborne over Louisiana right now doing loops. And we also have a reconnaissance plane flying north to south over Mississippi, right over the Mississippi River, which means that it's looking east to west for threats to the U.S., okay?
If you've ever wondered why it feels like minimum payments aren't actually getting you anywhere, you need to watch this.
And this Combat Sentinel plane is a high priority reconnaissance plane that sends intelligence directly to the president, and the nuke sniffer plane detects radiation in the atmosphere. Now what's interesting is a couple of days ago we had a Combat Sentinel flying this northeast to southwest loop over the Central Plains, which means it was looking down towards Cuba, potentially checking to see if there's any Russian missiles in Cuba like the Oreshnik. And we know that Russia said that they are going to start deploying short to medium range ground launched missiles. So this is very, very serious. And last night we had some very interesting activity. We had a U.S. Navy sub-hunter off the coast of San Diego, and it was flying at just 375 feet in altitude and just 262 miles per hour at one point, which is just absolutely insane. And this was just southwest of San Diego, and these planes detect submarines underwater, okay?
Yeah, so Babylon's in trouble, man. Okay, they got a whole reconnaissance thing going on. They've already surveyed the land. They've already figured out. They know your defenses. They know your weaknesses. And they know they can take this place. The scriptures say that, roughly paraphrasing it, that they should destroy a portion of the land of the Assyrians and besiege them from the enemy's land.
And in addition to the sub-hunter, there was also an E-3 sentry in the area, so potentially there was some kind of enemy submarine here right off the coast of San Diego. And then also last night we had 2 nuclear war command and control planes airborne, and we had a sub hunter off the coast of Florida as well. And this was very late at night, like almost midnight Eastern time.
So basically, those planes are scouring the country for nuclear threats, pocket nukes, radiation, whatever. They may deem a threat because they know that they're under imminent danger. All right, they're just not telling the people that because, I mean, let's face it, these Babylonians, they're just too docile, you know, and they panic at the first stir of trouble, which this is really something to be on high alert about. But see, if America cared about their citizens, they would provide them bunkers and shelters, but like other countries, but America, they don't care about their people. So they're not going to tell the people they're going to leave you here high and dry because once the missiles are shot, they going to sound the notifications, the alarms, take shelter. And these people ain't going to have no shelter to take because Esau haven't prepared them. Okay. And they haven't prepared themselves. So they're going to be out here scrambling, running around like their heads. You know, they had a term while you running around it's called like your head cut off like a chicken. You're running around like a chicken with his head cut off. You know, that's what they used to say to us when we were kids and we were running around erratically. That's going to be these people here because they have not been prepared. They have not been prepped for what's happening. You know, like Russia, they tell their citizens, look, you may want to vacate. You may want to get in shelters. You may want to take heed to what's coming. But they don't do that here. Okay, they encourage you to buy, go out and bread and circus and, you know, live your lives and continue to pay taxes until this shit is destroyed. So you people are cooked, man. You know, Jeremiah 50, and I'm going to start at verses 9. It says, for lo, I will rise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. Now, right, let's go here. All right, so of course, you know, when you think of the north country, you think of America because America is north, right? But it's still the west. When you think of the north country, what's north? Bam, there you go. Now, Russia is fucking huge, bro. All right, and you go Russia. It's farther north than America. All right, because, I mean, technically you got Alaska here, then you got Canada, which is still part of the Western Hemisphere, but it still lies in the land of the north, of course. But you got Russia, and they can shoot their missiles from here. And they can hit inland. And they can shoot their missiles going over the Atlantic and hit here. But ideally, it would be easier for them to just shoot their missiles going east. You know? China, Japan, South Korea, they shoot their missiles here. Bam. Fucking the UK, Germany, Poland. So you're going to get hit from all sides, man. This is going to be bad, bro. And it says here, and they should set themselves in array against her. From thence shall she be taken. Their arrows should be as the mighty expert men. None should return in vain. And those arrows are talking about those missiles, man. Okay? Hence what the Christians say, the lake of fire. This is going to be your lake of fire. All right? You see this continent here? This whole entire continent from Washington all the way down to Florida. All right? To Vermont. To Maine. All this is going to be totally in flames, obliterated. And from this aerial footage here, from space, this entire continent of America being engulfed on fire is going to look like a lake. It's simple. Like, peep this, right? This is Lake Michigan in Chicago, right? This is Lake Michigan. So, you know, it's called a lake because this is a body of water, a large body of water, right? So, lake is just symbolic of a large, massive land on fire. It's just symbolic of a lake of fire because of the mass of the land. You know, because America's a big fucking continent, believe it or not, you know. But anyway, let's read more. So it says here, an array against her, from thence she should be taken, and their arrow should be as of a mighty expert men. None should return in vain. And a marksman is a person that rarely ever miss. So these missiles are not going to miss because of the guidance systems, because of the computing factor that goes into it. Whether it be AI, you know, and just the guidance systems, these things are programmed into certain algorithms, and they're not going to miss the target, you know. guided. They call guided. You have what they call a missile guidance system, which helps it hits its target and it navigates what it needs to navigate. You know, when you when you go to the word array, it goes into the word arak, which means to arrange, set, or put and lay in order, set an array, prepare, order, ordain, handle, furnish, esteem, equal, direct, compare, or to arrange, to set, or to lay in order. Arrange, state in order, to set first, set in place, okay? And they're surrounding this place. And it says in Chaldea should be a spoil, and all that spoil her should be satisfied, says the Lord, okay? So this place is getting ready to be a freaking desert, okay? Because the Most High said it. Now, reading down, it says, your mother should be sore confounded, which, Great Britain, America gains its independence, or they succeeded from Great Britain. It says, she that bear you should be ashamed, because they're going to shoot missiles over here as well. Behold, the hindermost of the nations should be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. But because of the wrath of the Lord, it should not be inhabited, and should be wholly desolate. And everyone that goeth by Babylon should be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. So put yourselves in array against Babylon, round about, okay? So when you think about round about, like New York Prepper is going into, he's saying that pretty much America is surrounded. And this is where we're depicting on the world map here. They're surrounded on all sides, man. You got nuclear submarines here off the coast. You got nuclear submarines in the Pacific. You possibly got nuclear submarines off the coast of Alaska. You got nuclear submarines in the Atlantic. They're surrounded. And there's no way in hell they're going to be able to defend all those missiles that's coming in to pelt them. And it tells you that in Joel, the 2nd chapter, that they should climb over the wall as a thief, because they're going to bypass the guidance systems, man. But it says here, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, and all ye that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she have sinned against Yahweh. How has she sinned against the Most High? For one thing, for breaking the commandments of Yahweh Shai. Okay, Esau declaring himself a God and setting up the new world order and totally define the order of the Most High. And otherwise, and also putting the Most High's people in captivity. Okay, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Okay, we have been in this man's hands for the last 500 plus years, and the Lord is pissed about that, man. So he's coming to get us. And it says, shout against her round about. She have given her hand. Her foundations are fallen. Her walls are thrown down. Going into the guidance systems. For it is the vengeance of the Lord. Take vengeance upon her, as she had done unto her, as she has done unto her. And cut off the sword from Babylon, and him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest. For the fear of the oppressing sword shall they turn everyone to his people, and they shall flee everyone into his own land. So now people are fleeing to their own lands because they don't want to be caught here when this shit go down. They're just plain as day. All right, because they have an understanding or insight or working knowledge that eventually something is going to happen on his land. All right. So let's play a little bit more of the video. We'll get a couple more precepts and we'll end it.
And also, earlier this morning, we had a presidential doomsday plane fly from Offutt Air Base to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Now, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio, is considered to be like the Area 51 of the East. So, doomsday plane, nuke sniffer, high-priority reconnaissance plane, sub-hunter off of California, off of San Diego last night, flying just 375 feet above the ocean and at a very slow speed, which means that it was trying to zero in on a sub. 2 B-52 nuclear bombers airborne right now. We also have a sub-hunter off of Long Island, New York, and off of New Jersey right now as well. So something is definitely brewing. We just had a very long emergency action message or nuclear code that was transmitted by U.S. nuclear forces. There were a lot of nuclear codes transmitted yesterday as well.
This is how you move between fiat and crypto fast. Step 1, download Kraken. Step 2, boom, look at that.
Oh, come on, man.
And we also had this British reconnaissance plane fly over the Black Sea, and we haven't seen this in a while. They don't really fly in the Black Sea that much anymore, but this one flew east to west along the entire Black Sea and looking north towards Crimea. So potentially they're collecting targeting information for the Ukrainians, or they're trying to see if Russia's planning some kind of big attack on Ukraine in the coming days. And we have some major breaking news coming out of Lithuania. So the drone that flew into Lithuania from Belarus a couple of days ago on August 1st, it actually crashed at some kind of NATO training area just outside of Kaunas. Kaunas is where the largest NATO contingent is located in Lithuania. This drone that crashed apparently had 2 kilograms of explosives, is what I'm hearing right now. According to Prosecutor General Nita Grunskini, the device appeared to be a modified Gerbera drone. The explosive charge was safely neutralized on site. The drone's remains have been collected for expert analysis, and an investigation is underway. So we have this very small drone that could not be detected by Lithuania's radars, flew very low, and it flew over the capital of Lithuania. It flew right over Vilnius at just 650 feet. And this update was sponsored by EMP Shield. Guys, EMP Shield has created a special discount just for you, the listeners of the NY Prepper channel. If you go to EMP Shield...
All right, that's enough for that. So... basically, point has been made. So, this place is getting ready to get smashed from all sides. All right, the Most High is at the point. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna just take this goddamn place out. But the Most High is bound by His word, so things have to play out according to how the Lord has written. But let's go here. Verses 22. Matter of fact, let's start at verses 20, 21. It says, go up against the land of Merathaim. Okay, when you go into the word Merathaim, it means bitter. And America means bitter. Okay, so the scriptures leave little nuggets in there to let you know what it's talking about, because this is future prophecy. Even though it was written in text of being ancient lands, you got to understand that where ancient lands and modern day lands sit, it plays out the way it's written, because like when you go into like Gog and Magog, all right, which is Japhetic nations or the sons of Japhet, and you go into where Russia sits today, and it talks about future judgment in the land of Gog or Magog, then you understand that that's talking about Russia today, because the Bible is very parabolic. But it says, go up against the land of Merathaim, and let me double check that. I believe it means bitter. Okay, which goes into Marathaim, which means double rebellion. Oh, okay, double rebellion. Salakia, thought it meant bitter. Another name from Babylon, double rebellion. I thought it meant bitter. Oh, yeah, it do. Actually, it does. Thinks Babylonian Merathaim, the land, Mar or Mara, the bitter river, Persian Gulf, or the bitter river. Yeah, so it means bitter. All right, double rebellion. But it says, go up against the land of Merathaim, even against it, and against the inhabitants of Pakag, and waste and utterly destroy after them, says Yahweh, and do according to all that I have commanded thee. 22, it says, a sound of battle is in the land, and of great destruction. So this place is going to be hit. It says, how was the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? All right, and that's a question, because America has been known as a power horse since World War II. They've reached the peak of their power and pride, and to the point to speak the words of America will put fear in the heart of the nations, because when Esau flexed and dropped the atom bomb, the nation was like, oh shit. And that's when this devil was most proud, okay? Because America has been the power horse. They've been the hammer of the earth for a long time, man, and everybody knows it. This is why everybody got down with their program, because they was afraid of the military coming up against them. But now they're being weakened. And it says, how was the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? It says, I've laid a snare for thee, And thou was also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware, and thou art found and also caught, because they have striven against the Most High. Yeah. All right. That's basically you putting your finger up to the hand of the Most High and said, what you gonna do about it? All right. And we've already broken down how he's defied the Most High to his face by snatching us, putting us in captivity and afflicting us. And on top of that, just turning the earth into a complete perpetual wasteland, man. Turning everything upside. You got this AI shit. You have this crazy weather here. It's supposed to be a clear day outside, but you have nothing but haze. You know, all because Esau is chemtrailing and cloud seeding and geoengineering the heavens. Everything is sick. Trees are dying. Animals are bugging out. People are sick. It's madness, man. But it says the Lord have opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord Yahweh of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. So come against her from the utmost border. Open her storehouse, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly, and let nothing of her be left. So this place is going to be through, man, all right? And we ain't got that long. For those of you jakes out there talking about, hey, you always saying that going to happen. It ain't going to happen in our lifetime, bro. What the hell you think So you think it's going to take another 2,000 years for this to transpire? Okay, why do we need to take that long when we have everything in play now? Everything is lining up according to prophecy. So why do we need to take another 2,000 years just so you jakes continue being demons and wicked? Just so we continue living in this wicked ass world? No, man, this shit needs to come to a close and quick. All right, and we're banking on this happening in our lifetime. And it's because you people are in denial. They don't make us wrong. All right, last precept. 2nd Ezra 16, and I'm going to start at verses 16, and let's start at verses 13. It says, for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and should not miss when they begin to be shot in the ends of the world. All right. Those missiles say when those arrows begin to be shot at the ends of the world, this is the uttermost part of the earth. Okay, the far west. Right here in Babylon. And those missiles are going to come from this side. They're going to come from this side. They're going to come from here. And they're going to come from here. They're going to be shot everywhere. All the missiles are going to aim here to Babylon. They're going to take this place out in 1 hour. But anyway, with that, all praises and glory and honor that is due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Lord's will, you will edify. Until the next lesson. Shalom.